Remember a couple weeks ago when I got scammed on eBay? Yeah, I went to buy this Oliver that looks like this, or what you see on screen, and instead it arrived looking like a cheese grater. Dry humped it on a lonely night. Yeah, good times, just great times all around, let me tell you. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter too much because, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? We're here to talk about the lad himself today and how I've slowly kind of restored him over the last couple weeks. Now, I will say this is technically a part 1. Oliver is not yet done, as I'm sure you can tell. He's missing his transfers from the side. Very small detail that I plan to add, but most of that's coming from overseas, so it's kind of a waiting game. But you know what? Like I said, we're here today. So let's just talk about it, whatever. Let's see, I think the best place to start is with identifying what needed to be changed. So, when Oliver first arrived, if you remember the original video, he was pretty worse for wear. His face was not looking too great, he didn't have side rods at all, or really any of the mechanism that gave him side rods. I'm pretty sure the original wheels were swapped out, and the pegs that he used to have were snapped off. That aside, the stickers themselves were horrible, so they ended up coming off completely. I did end up taking off the face, or completely removing that with the Dremel, and now have this beautiful one you see here, which was printed by Thomas Tank Merch, and I believe designed by Rexecutions, and I'll have both linked down below if any of you guys are curious on getting your own faces, but that's where this new one came from. You know, before we jump into the overall paintwork and plan for this thing, let's talk about what was probably the hardest part, and that was here, the chassis, and getting this whole thing to work again. So this right here is Oliver's chassis after I've modified it. So the first step was to drill into these middle wheels, or more, I dremeled into them with a very small drill bit and then installed these pegs. These came off a Trackmaster Troublesome truck that were literally just cut off. The front wheels, I believe, come from a Trackmaster Bill, and the side rods are pretty obviously Edward, but I didn't really have to modify either. When it comes to the front wheel, I took off the gears and, you know, anything on it that would make the rotation itself a little bit more tricky. And when it comes to the Edward rods, as you can see here, they work pretty damn well as is. I was expecting to have to shrink them, maybe even stretch them. Nope, they work just fine on either side, and I haven't really had a problem with them yet. Unfortunately, the front wheel does stick a little bit, but that's not really the fault of the side rods. It's more how I got it to fit into the chassis. So in a similar way to how I cut into the middle wheel, I actually cut the axle that holds this front wheel quite a bit larger, and because of that, it does have a little bit of stick when it runs. But the traction tires here really, well, do help with traction, and they don't really get stuck too often. It's more when you try to freewheel it, you may notice, like I'm doing here, it gets stuck just a little bit, but in operation, it's surprisingly clean. And you know what? It's good enough for me, so I can't really, you know, complain too much, at least at this thing. Now, you may remember the original plan with Oliver was to give him static rods. He would have been in the same lane as maybe Murdoch, or just had ones that didn't really move, but you know me, I literally just made a video on Bell and how I didn't like that and changed that fact. It had to happen for Oliver too, so realistically, you know, it may be a little jerry-rigged, but at the very least it works, and that's all that really matters to me. But that's enough about the chassis. Let's talk about the body a bit here. Now, the body hasn't been through as much as the chassis, but as you can clearly see, it's been changed. Again, the face is completely replaced. I did add this little lamp here, but that soon probably will be replaced too. It's just a little bit small and sits on the actual lamp iron. It doesn't really cover it, and I'd probably, well, if I can, I want to give this guy a working lamp, so yeah, that'll be bye-bye soon. But I can't lie, even with it being so small, I still kind of like the look of it. It will be changed, but it's a Westcliff classic, how can I not love it? So the livery you currently see Oliver in is not actually the first one he wore. You may remember I also wanted to make this a scrap Oliver, but once I went through it and had him in that livery, I just didn't like it. It feels like something you would expect, you know? Like, of course you'd take a messed up Oliver and turn him into a scrap Oliver, right? Well, why not restore him and turn him into something a little cooler, or maybe a little bit more inspired? So the green that Oliver currently wears is what you see here, a Tamiya TS28, Oliver Drab 2. Did I just say olive drab? I mean, it is Oliver Drab now, but that's not what it's called. Whatever, my bad. And pretty much this is a nod to the Railway series, or one of my favorite versions of Escape, since, I don't know, I just always liked that Oliver. I loved his little funnel sock, the fact that he pretty much still looked like an engine, but the crew just took markers and wrote scrap all over him. That was just cool to me, and this hopefully will be, well, that. I'm still waiting on the BR transfers, like I said earlier, so those need to be added, but once that is, I'll hopefully get a very small white marker, add the little scrap words all over him, and you may notice these little holes that have appeared on the front. That is kind of my fault. So looking inside of him, you can see I did have to Dremel quite a bit to get those side rods to work and fit without, interference. Unfortunately, I did just a little too much, and it shows through on this back splasher area and here on the front splasher area, but it could be worse, and I do have a plan to hide that pretty quickly and easily. Oliver during the time of Escape definitely wasn't in the best shape. He didn't have time to take care of his paintwork very much, so you probably can't tell right now, but right there's a little bit of brown, and just in random spots I airbrushed just a little bit of light brown to give the green some deviation. Of course, the paint would be a little dinged up in certain areas, and he wouldn't be in tip-top shape. I'm thinking it'll be pretty easy to cover that, if not with some tools, maybe just some tiny shrubs as a nod to the scrap Oliver, or maybe it'll be like a fusion of the Railway series Oliver and the TV series Oliver, since the face is definitely TV series. But you know what? I still think it'll be cool. It'll work out in the end. So yeah, I know that was probably very confusing. I said a lot very quickly, but yeah, that's how Oliver's gone so far. The little bit of gold you see on the top, I believe, is a Vallejo metallic color. My fiance helped me out with the windows here, since that was a lot of trouble for me. I'll go ahead and admit it. So she came in clutch and got those perfect on either side. I've used a silver paint pen to kind of add these handrails here, and wasn't gonna do that originally, but seeing as I'm going as far as I am with detail, why leave those out? And but I did leave out the handrail on the top of his head, and that's just because it's so roughed up there. It's kind of hard not to notice, so I'm just gonna leave that part all black. I really don't think it's too bad or noticeable, at least when it's in that state. I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm forgetting. Oh, his coal load is not his original coal load. You may be able to tell that. That is a Thomas coal load because I accidentally lost his old one. I don't know how, okay? It just kind of happened. But yeah, he has a new coal load, new face, lamp now. Pretty much a new everything. This Oliver has a completely new life from when he started. I don't know if that's saying much, admittedly, but I'm still proud. He's definitely better than I thought he would be. And ladies and gentlemen, once I do get those transfers and have them added to the side, it should literally only be a couple days and boom, Oliver will be completed, and I'll jump on making the video then. But yeah, this has been the part 1 into how I've restored the Oliver model, and god damn it, I think it's time to run some trains, ladies and gentlemen, so let's get to it. Rosie! You little dork! Are you just gonna leave him like that? Damn. And she did it with style, too. Oh, they need to escape now. This is a real escape situation right here. Oh no, oh no, oh no, right in the butt, right in the, come on, y'all. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh. Toad, if that's not the best, that's why he's the best break fan. That's the best catch ever. Bro, don't you even dare, don't think about it, you turd. And there we go. Back on the tracks now. Well, we're gonna have a repeat of last time from the looks of it. No, she was ahead of it this time. She's still going after Toad. What did Toad do? What did Toad do? What did you do to Rosie, bro?
Either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out.